welcome to Cut the Thread. My name is Lori and today we're going to talk about how to measure ourselves so that we can choose the right size band when we're making clothes for ourselves. So we're going to specifically be talking about the bust, waist and hip point, which are most of the measurements that are being used when choosing which size band to make when making clothes. When measuring yourself, it's best to not be wearing too many clothes. I'm wearing a single layer right now. If you plan to wear the clothing that you're going to make with a bra, I would actually take the measurements with a bra on. If you don't plan to wear a bra, then you can take it off when you're measuring yourself. So what we need today is measuring tape and maybe some pen and paper to write our measurements down. So to take our bust measurements, we're actually going to go around the widest part of our bust. So in this case, for me, it's right about here. We also want to try and make sure that this line is as horizontal as possible. You can do that in like a bathroom mirror, or you can do it like me right now and have your iPhone up and see where you're at. So for me, this is about horizontal like this, which gives me a measurement of about 102.5 centimeters. So next is your waist. Now, your waist is the narrowest part of your body. Now, for some ladies, there's no easy narrowest part to find. Some of us are actually quite straight down, which is all good. All bodies are beautiful. But there's a trick to find which point you should measure. And so one of the things you can do when you put your hands in the side, the top of where your hands are kind of the waistline, is kind of the waistline. That's where you naturally put your hands. Another way to do it is bend, because where you bend is the other kind of natural point where your waist is at, and then you measure this line. So for me, if I measure that, we get to a measurement of about 91 centimeters. So it's very important that you're not like, inhaled and then you're measuring, because that will then not be comfortable when you're wearing the clothes. You want to be relaxed and exhaled when you're actually doing the measuring. So the final part is the hips. Here you want it to be on the widest part of your body. And again, you also want to make sure that that line is as horizontal as possible to the floor. So for me, that gives me about 116.5 centimeters. And next we'll talk through how to use those measurements when choosing which size band to make. So most patterns, just like our patterns, will come with two measuring tables. The first measuring table will be the size bands, and they will say for each size band, this is the measurement that we used for the bust, the waist and the hips. Now, it's very, very normal that we fall in between those size bands, because clothes should fit our bodies and not the other way around. So it's super normal to fit in between them. And what you want to do is kind of choose the closest size. Now, for some of us, like for myself, I tend to be 2 sizes smaller on my bust than I am on my hips. And the way that we deal with that is that I will actually look at the second table. And so the second table are the finished garment measurements. So essentially, once you've made the garment in this specific size band, what are the bust, waist and hip measurements? So for the Alice dress, for example, say that I want to make size band G. That has a waist measurement of about 111 centimeters. So what I would want to do, because my waist would actually be technically, according to the table, 2 sizes larger. So what I would want to do is, for this size that matches my bust ideally, I would actually go and look at the 111 measurement. I would put it here on my measuring tape, and I would see, does that fit me? So because of how the Alice dress is, which is it's wide and has lots of gathers, I actually see this will fit me super comfortably. So I am fine making the size band G. And I would, for the ladies that it's the other way around, that their bust might be 2 sizes bigger than their hips, I would still use the same method. I would first look at how my bust will fit, because that affects how the shoulders will fit as well. And then I will look how the other measurements fits. If you're still like, well, this doesn't look like it's going to fit me exactly right, which is especially important when you're making trousers, there's something that we can do which is called grading, which we'll talk about in another video.